Looking at a little something different. Got a different setup right now. Content is going to be a little bit different tonight. Hopefully you guys can hear me on the mic okay. I have the new lavalier mic in there. So hopefully, I might have to close out of this chat and pop back in so I can see everything. Maybe. Maybe. Not getting my live feed up here. I'm still showing it up there. I got to reset my screen over here real quick. Let me close out of it. This is not going as well as I'd like it to. Stop it. There we go, reinitiated the feed. Hopefully that's better. See if I can hear myself and turn my volume up. Hopefully that's better. See if I can hear myself. All right, turn my volume back down so we don't get any feedback. And let me change my resolution. Hate this. When it pops up this nasty grainy resolution. There we go, that should be much better resolution. Fix it. There we go. All right, much nicer. So, tonight, a little bit different. Normally I'd be carving, but I started making cornhole boards today for myself and just only got about one done here. So we're currently at the point where I'm going to affix the leg portion here and make that solid. Now I could go ahead and just pull these up and stain them already, but I'm not going to do that right away. So I do want to affix these in the right spot and make those good. And I'll stain it after because this is the underside of the board and I don't really care. I can just take, I don't really care. I can just spray on some urethane. But I do need to affix these in order for these to be good. So, just got to figure out where I want to affix them. How far down is the key, for me at least. So I think I'm going to do that with just making a couple of quick lines on here so I know where the 1 inch down mark is. Just using my speed square here. I think an inch down is more than enough. Did I lose my feed here? It looks like maybe I don't. No, my tablet lost my feed for me. What the hell was that? I don't really like that idea. I don't know why in the hell that happened. Reinitiating, and hopefully this stays better this time. Yeah, and the whole reason I'm using the square is because it gives me a good hard stop that I can use. And like I said, I think 1 inch is plenty for me to give me a little lift off the ground because I don't need too much more than that. So I'm just making little lines there. I don't need too big of anything. So I've already measured this to get the right angle. Your cornhole boards, should you decide to make any on your own, the board when it's flipped over needs to be 12 inches from the top of the board to the ground. So, take this and just kind of wedge this in here. And the whole reason I'm doing this is just for stability. Nothing more, nothing less, just stability. And I got my little clamp here that I'm going to have to try to use effectively. Got mosquitoes everywhere. And any noise you hear in the background tonight, my beautiful wife is woodworking with me today. She doesn't normally do it. but she is today, and I think it's pretty freaking cool that she has gotten out and she's done some projects here with me today. Come on, get in there. So when you're working with only one set of hands, things can kind of suck sometimes. No, it's okay. Thank you, love. She was willing to help me hold some stuff. I'm going to try and do it a little bit differently than what I normally would. Set this up against that like that. Then I don't have to fight the clamp. Hey, what's up, Matt and Clay? I forgot to say hi to Clay when I popped in here. So I only need to get this kind of snug, and then I can kind of bump it in place. So I'm just going to snug this board up a little bit. And I will bump it into the position that I want it in. And I'm just kind of squaring it up to my little 1-inch mark line there. I don't need to make it super tight. This board might be a little bit twisted actually. But that's okay. We'll untwist that board here shortly. Just kind of clamp this down just a wee bit more. And bring it down this way a little bit more. Get it a little bit closer towards the actual work that's being done. Now that might be why it's twisting too. All right, so I've got my little lineups here, and I'm going to use some different screws and line this up here. All right, so I got to put my drill bit in because I want to countersink these holes and pre-drill them. If you don't pre-drill the holes, what ends up happening is you can split the wood, and Lord knows you don't want to split it after you got all this hard work into it, right? I don't. So take my drill and I'm going to drill a couple little holes here. Get ready for some countersinking. These don't have to be super straight. Just as straight as you can get them by eye. It's fine. And I got this handle that's in my way a little bit. It's okay though. Just means this hole is going to be a little bit on an angle. Alright, so I use my little drill bit. Now I'm going to take my countersink. I'm going to use this next. Yes, I have more of those. They're in the top of that black box over there. My wife was looking for another sanding pad. What was wrong with that one? Oh, you're just trying to keep it clean? Okay. The black box right here, it's on the top of it. So, yep, we're going to countersink these holes. The other side should be easier because there's no handle in the way. And I grab my 1 5/8" screws, deckmate screws, because you're going to play outside and it's going to get moist. So you want to make sure that you got at least a little bit of protection on it, right? This screw gun's a little bit loud. It's a little impact driver, so it gets a little loud. All right, now I can spin the board around and get the other side. It would figure that that drill bit would fall right through the hole. This one. All right, so now we can make sure we keep this back. So we want to keep that as straight as possible. And in order to do that, I think I'm going to have to clamp it because it's kind of loose. So I'll just clamp this over and help hold that into position, and I can bump this in. Get that kind of lined up. Yeah, looks good to me. Switch back to my little drill bit, and then this board will pretty much be done, except for I've got to add the skins that I ordered. Have to come in so I can put the skins on. I got to urethane it. I got some sanding to do. I got a couple things to do on the board, but for the most part, the board will be done. So this board right here, it's really just to stabilize the legs and help keep it in order. We want to keep the legs from wobbling around so that the board doesn't go all kinds of wonky when you're playing. I don't know, do either of you guys in here that are watching, either of you guys ever played Cornhole, know what it is, or ever heard of it even? I'm sure you can hear my wife out there running the sander. Let's see, Matt says, what am I making? I am making cornhole boards, Matt. I don't know if you've ever played it. I don't know if you guys have that over there in England or not, or Europe. Whatever area you're in over there. I don't know if you guys have cornhole over there, but it's quite the big redneck game over here that has actually become a pretty competitive sport. To be honest with you, it's kind of funny that it's gotten so popular, but it has, and I enjoy playing it. And people take this crap really, really seriously. People play for money. There's leagues, there's tournaments, there's all kinds of reasons for people to play. And like I said, I enjoy it. I like playing, so I do play. But basically, the board, when positioned like this, get it set up right. There we go. When the board's set up like this, and all this marking that you can see on here, I had to use some wood filler on it, just to fill the screw holes, because I'm going to put that skin on there, and you need this to be completely smooth when you do that. So the game, in case you are unfamiliar with it, you use bean bags. Each person has 4 bags, and you throw the bean bags from about 27 feet away from the front of the board, and you're trying to get that bag into this hole. It's a 6-inch bag into a 6-inch hole. The whole idea is to get the bag to hit the board and slide in or go right into the hole. That's the whole premise of the game in a nutshell. It's not all of the rules and everything, but the game is played until 21. It is scored by getting bags in the hole or on the board. That is the main way to score. And I am grabbing a hammer real quick. Hopefully the lavalier mic is doing its job and following me. Never heard of it. Throwing.com, throwing corn cobs through a hole? No, not corn cobs, actual bean bags. I know it's weird. It's pronounced cornhole, but it is actually bean bags. Some people call it bag toss. So right now what I'm doing for this, you can hopefully see it. See if I got that into frame or not. Yeah, okay, so carriage bolts, that's what holds the leg on. There's a little square underneath there. I'm just gonna pound that in there so it stays tight. And I shouldn't have done it on that side of the board like that. I'm gonna pound the other side in too. I'm gonna try to keep that nut off of there though. I had the top of my other board down there. So the reason I had to pound that in there is because I need to tighten down both of these bolts enough. So I got to grab some tools for that. That whole, those holes there, or the carriage bolts, they're going to help prevent the board from spinning. Oh yes, Matt, beer is definitely involved in this game. Yeah, I don't know if it's allowed to be played without beer. I think beer is a must-have in this game, to be honest with you. It's not not too optional as far as I'm concerned. What'd you say? My beer, my love, is in the refrigerator. I am going to get some in a minute. So I'm using 2-inch lag bolts, or carriage bolts, I mean. And the reason I'm using carriage bolts is because, like I said, the square nub holds it on the other side, and then neoprene nuts on the inside prevent it from backing off. That's pretty good. I'll give this one more little crank. Give this one a couple more little cranks. Just to make sure that we're into the, there we go. That's nice and solid. That's what we want to see. All right, so like I said, this board is pretty much done, and we can walk through the next part of it. Yeah, beer is definitely involved in the game, no doubt about that. It is a game usually played amongst friends, but as I said, people take it very, very seriously, and they get very, very competitive. So what I need to do from here, I need to sand off my screw holes. I need to paint whatever I'm going to paint. I need to stain whatever I'm going to stain. But this is how the board sits. On this end of the board is 12 inches. 12 inches off of the ground is the proper height. And then right here, it's just a little over 4 inches. You use a 1x4 or a 2x4 underneath a half-inch thick sheet of plywood. And that is how you get your front height and your back height. The board is 4 feet from one side, from the bottom side to the top, and 2 feet wide. So from 27 feet away, throw the beanbag, try to land it anywhere on this board, scores you 1 point. A bag in the hole scores you 3 points. If your opponent lands a bag on with you or in the hole with you, they cancel out, and whoever gets the most on there, well, that's how you score points. That's how you get ahead. I agree. Sounds like a great game. Once you throw beer in the mix, it's a great game. So that's good. This board can now be moved aside, and we're going to get started on this next one. Like I said, I'm waiting on skins and bags to come in. I have ordered custom skins, and I have ordered custom bags to do what I need to do. So there's always a nice side to the plywood when you do this that you just saw, and then this is the yucky, nasty side. This is definitely not the side you want to use on your board because you'll snag, you'll have a lot more work to do. Just to smooth this out, that playing surface needs to be very smooth and somewhat slick. So I'm going to grab the pieces that I need to construct the bottom of the board here. All right, so we've got 2 side pieces, all right, and then we've got 3 center pieces. And the reason for 3, a lot of people will just use the top and the back, but since I am using 1x4s, so these are thinner, if I don't put a center piece in here, what ends up happening is you get a lot more bounce on the board, but I'm using 1x4s to make the boards way lighter. They're a fraction of the actual weight. So we got that, and then the part that you just saw me working on was the legs, right? So this is that cross member you saw me put on. Those are the legs, they get rounded over. And we put these little marks because you have to drill a 3/8 inch hole there. Looks like I'm buffering. Did I lose my feed? I better not have lost my feed. No, maybe it's just my tablet. Looks like it might just be my tablet. So anyhow, these little holes right here, or not holes yet. This is just a mark for where I have to drill the hole, and that'll come a little bit later. But these, that's the center mark here and center from the top, and then I just use a compass to round that off. Jigsaw it to make it round, and you need it to do that so that when it's sitting in the board, it can roll. This is not the final length of it. We'll get the final length of it more towards the end of the procedure here. For now, we're going to use what tools we have here, plus these. So, real quick, take these pieces. Like I said, you've got a 4-foot piece of plywood. So this gets cut to 4 foot. All right, and it's upside down for you guys, but you can kind of see it, hopefully. That gets cut to 4 foot. Let's flip it around the right way for you guys so you guys can actually see it. I don't need to see it right side up. You guys need to. So you cut a 4 footer, 2 4 footers. That makes your side. And then you cut a few. And don't always follow these measurements online, because I picked these boards up pre-cut and I shouldn't have, because they're like 3/16, maybe a 1/4 inch almost off in size. So I had to adjust my cuts. So these cuts sideways are not the proper size. They should be bigger than that, but they are not. But I had to adjust my size because I didn't have a tape measure with me when I did this, so no tape measure means I had to kind of fight it. So what we're going to do now, I'm going to take and pick out the way that I want my board and which side I want facing the top of the board and which side I want facing the bottom of the board. So I'm going to call this a top piece. I'm going to get these all laid out. And all I'm looking for is what looks best along the edge. Now this one I want on the inside. So I'm just going to make this the top. And I'm writing my orientation on there. This one definitely has some not so great looking area to it. So this one is actually going to be my top middle. Then it doesn't get seen at all. All right, so that one's going to go here in the middle. I know that one. This one's pretty good either way, but we'll just continue on and we'll continue picking our top. Stay oriented. And this one I'm going to make the top because I don't like that little mark right there. It's not going to make any difference, but I don't like it. So that's that. I've got these nifty little corner clamps. Help you square up and grab a board and help get it square so you can get yourself in order. Looks like you guys can see it. So put this little corner clamp on here. It's spring mounted. Once it's on there, you can adjust it. Some of this is a little bit difficult to do. There we go, we got it in. And now I just slide it in to get it kind of squared up. And I'm going to put one on the bottom. I'm going to put one on the bottom here and give myself a little bit of room. Once the first one goes on, the second one goes on real nice and easy. And all I'm trying to do is just make sure these are good and flush. All right, that's the goal, flush them up so that they go together nice and square. So typically, screwing into the end grain of your wood is a bad idea. It's very weak and you can literally just rip screws out. But because we're putting a piece of plywood on all the way around the top, that's not an issue. So I'm going to pre-drill and countersink and attach screws. So that's the game plan here now. Put my screws over here and we're going to go all the way around the board. We're going to do this all the way around 4 sides. Again, it doesn't have to be super perfect and super lined up unless you're planning on going to join the ACA Cornhole Tournament League, an official cornhole tournament league. Then they're very fussy and picky. Some of the bags for that are ridiculous expensive. You'll spend $150 on 4 bags. And you need 8 to play the game with a pair of people. But they take it very, very seriously. Take my couple of screws here, get these in. So I countersunk them so that they would fall into line. And I'll flip it up and I'll show you. I don't need these on here now. Use those on the next part of the board. So I get countersunk so that they fall in, because you're going to take some wood filler And you're going to fill that in, and then you'll sand it down so that that stays nice and clean and neat. And then, because I didn't look at it before, I'll just sand off that ink right there too. No big deal. I'm going to spin this around, and I'm going to keep my top oriented. My top's oriented. I'm going to flip this too, so that I keep everything where it's supposed to be. And we're going to repeat the same thing on this corner. It is important when you're doing this that you make sure your orientation stays good. It really does help you out quite a bit. Get that first one on. Give myself a little angle here. My wife is out there running her staple gun that I got her today, and myself. Better for her purposes that she needed it for today than what I would normally use them for. So we got ourselves a little new toy, I guess we'll call it. And like I said, just flushing everything up, trying to get it as flush as possible. This is the only part that sucks, is constantly switching drill bits. So if you have 2 drills, this is freaking great. Even if you have like a little 9-volt drill that you can leave just the countersink or just the small drill bit in, either or, it's great to be able to not have to switch back and forward, back and forward. Like I said, we're just trying to get it in there straight as best as possible. We're not too concerned about lining it up super perfect with anything other than being flush on the edges. What? Did you put them outside?
Early.
I don't know where you put your bag of clips. Look around by the saw, look around all over the place there. Making the countersinks again. Now realistically I could avoid the countersinks, but if I'm going to put the time into building the boards, I might as well make it look nice, right? And for me really, I could have avoided putting any holes in or any filler in the top of the board too, because I'm going to cover it with a skin. If you're going to paint the board or just urethane it, you definitely have to fill the holes. I'm not doing that though, but I still wanted it to look right, so there I am. I'm not sinking these screws super deep because I don't want to have to use a ton of wood filler. I'm sinking them maybe 1/8 of an inch in or so. And like I said, pre-drilling helps prevent the boards from splitting and helps everything grab a little better. So we got this one as the top piece, and I definitely wanted that piece towards the inside of the board. Like I said, keep your orientations right and you will have much better success. People make cornhole boards here and make really good money with it. A lot of people sell these board sets for a couple $100 each set just to make them. So people do pretty well with them. It's a good fun thing to do. It challenges your building skills a little bit, making sure that you get things squared up and correct. But yeah, people take it seriously and they really enjoy their cornhole here. I mean, I play and I like taking things to the next level. So the skins and stuff that I ordered, I don't think they'll be here in time before I head up to my property next week. Oof. I didn't like that. I did not like that. Okay, so it slipped on me a little bit, because the board might be a little bit twisted. So the first screw I'll put in is the first hole that I drilled. And that'll kind of draw it back up for me and line it back up. And I'm going to jump over and read some comments here in a second, and I will reply to you guys. All right, I think that's okay. Catastrophe averted. Really wasn't a catastrophe though. All right, we're good on that. That corner's good. Like I said, let's read some comments here real quick. Yeah, it might be at the Olympics soon. I seriously wouldn't doubt it. There is a big enough market in cornhole that I could see it being an Olympic sport. And it sounds like it might be somewhat easy. It does really sound like it might be somewhat easy, but there are guys and girls out there that are absolutely phenomenal at this game. And I mean, like, every freaking throw, they'll put the bag in the hole. Like, they have zero issues landing a bag in the hole. It is pretty ridiculous, but respectable. I mean, it's a task to get every bag in the hole. It is not an easy task. It is not at all easy. But there is a lot of skill to it, and there's a lot of strategy to it too. A lot of people wouldn't think there's so much strategy involved with it, but there is a fair amount of strategy involved in it. I don't know what that is and where it came from. It's got to be one of the rubber sides. It is on the, it's one of the rubber sides on this clamp here.
Why can make so many?
There we go. Get that fixed back up. Lined up pretty good. All right, we can get these holes drilled. Get the countersink done. Like I said, if you had a spare drill to be able to not have to switch up like this, you'd save yourself so much time. Just the time switching back and forward bits to bits, it kind of sucks. If I was building more of these and doing it much more often, I would probably invest in a little 9-volt cordless drill just to continue to have this ready, because this is not super fun to keep switching. That's why I have the impact driver out, because it saves me from switching one bit at least. Plus the impact driver drives screws into wood really nicely. Take this off and this off. So we've got our rough frame built. I'm going to take some quick measurements and mark our 2-foot line. And we're going 2 feet so we know where the middle is. Marking 2 feet and 2 feet so that we can set this board up top mid facing down. It's going to be a little tight and snug going in, as it should be. Using my little clamp here to hold this side into place. Pushing down on that just kind of helps me make sure that it's lined up to where it needs to be. Again, just kind of getting it centered up. Making sure everything is flush as best as possible. And we'll drill some holes here. Just got to try to make sure that you're drilling your holes straight up and down on that one. Lots of turning and moving unless you can run around circles around your board. And I got to get my shop better organized and in better condition because I don't even have a tall enough bench for myself right now. I don't like being bent over like this, trying to work. It's quite a bit low for me. I would like a bench top up about here, which is about another foot higher than what it is right now.
Molly, you let my dog in a few minutes? Is Marshall outside? Yes.
All right, got that in. Just pick up this whole thing, spin it around, and we'll re-square up the board here. Oddly enough, this is actually pretty good practice if you are building shelves or anything of that nature, because it's kind of the same thing. You're kind of building your shelves somewhat the same way, working on getting things square. It's good practice for stuff like that, just construction-wise. And I'm just kind of lining up the hole here. I'm eyeballing it. Like I said, it doesn't have to be lined up perfect, machined to a thousandth of an inch type of thing. Especially if you're not doing ACA boards. Those are held to quite a bit of a different standard. I'm going to drink beer and play with my buddies in the backyard, so I don't need it to be perfect like that. I spent most of the day getting everything cut and prepped and stuff like that, and doing some work here. I did another little project today, a couple projects, and my wife, like I said, she's gotten adventurous and stepped into the realm of helping me do some woodworking. So now I'm pretty much done with these little guys. I can set these aside. What? Oh, my wife's going to be loud for a second. She's going to run the router. Well, she will be in a second. She forgot something, so. Setting my tools aside here. I'm still going to need all this stuff, but I need a little more room right now than anything. Remove my wood fillers. Okay. So I almost made a mistake right there, guys. I actually did make a mistake with this piece, but it's in the middle, so it doesn't matter. This was supposed to be the top, but I know the rest of this is definitely supposed to be the top, and I almost messed that up. I almost had that sitting towards the bottom. It wouldn't have mattered. It's nothing that's going to be seen. It's just me being picky. So now we got to square it all up, make it all right, and make it all fit good. And we're going to start by getting one corner pretty snugged and lined up, and we'll clamp it down. So I'm going to move this out here a little bit. And we're going to clamp it down. We'll get a screw into it, and then kind of use it as a pivot. Kind of get the rest of it. I got one edge pretty good, and so this whole board is going to end up shifting. But we're going to get a screw in here first to get started.
Make sure this doesn't set on fire.
Okay. You don't have to whisper, sweetheart. So here you just got to make sure you're in far enough that you're missing the screws that you first put in. I'm just eyeballing it. You'll know if you hit it because it'll stop. Guaranteed, it'll stop in its tracks. And again, these are 2 feet by 4 feet. And if you don't square them up right, it's not going to run right for you. Can move some more stuff up onto the top here now that I got some stuff going. So I'm trying to just make sure that this whole thing is flush back here. Flush to the touch is really all I need. Now I can go to this corner, I can go to this corner, or I can try to go to the opposite corner. The opposite corner, if you kind of square that up, it helps quite a bit. It helps you get everything lined up usually. And I don't like how that hit right there, but that could just be because things are a little bit off. So instead, what I'm going to do is I'm going to sink another screw on this side, and then I'll shift the boards as I need to square everything up. So I'll get another screw in over here once I get this side into a good position, and this all feels nice over here. Feels flushed up enough. Clamp this one down, and then that basically, those screws kind of hold that whole board, and then everything can kind of shift into place. And we're trying to square it up off of the plywood itself. That's the goal. Use the plywood to square it up. A little wire there on my phone. Microphone is dangling around. Come around this way, get a good line on it. Just trying to miss those screws that we put in earlier. On the first set of boards, a couple of times I did not miss the screws. I had to make new holes, which again, for me, it doesn't matter. Solely because I'm putting a skin over this. I didn't want to paint it. I wanted boards that were a little bit more, a little bit prettier, a little bit extra. Once I get the board squared up, I can stop switching bits so much, and I can go around and drill all the holes, and then I can go countersink everything. Then I can go run all the screws. Okay, we're still good. All right, put that in there, take this off, and now let's get the other end of the board squared up as best we can. Start down here and shifting that way a little bit. We'll start on this corner right here. That's feeling pretty good all the way down. It's a good idea to throw your tools on the ground. Let them know that you appreciate them. They really love that. And almost there. There we go. Let's get this hole drilled. Once I got this hole drilled, it's pretty solid from here. We just kind of run around and do what we got to do to get the rest of the holes in. So you need at least 3 screws to get yourself started. And then you can stop switching bits so damn much. Because switching bits all the time stinks. And you may have to use a bigger clamp to help yourself square something up in the middle or make the middle a little bit more lined up. But if you don't have to, great. And if you do, well, no biggie. There we go. Take this clamp off. That seems to be okay over there, but I'm going to put a screw in that side anyways. Because then I've got 4 screws in, everything's pretty squared up. I'm going to clamp it down just so that I get a good bite on it. And that seems pretty nice on both sides. It's pretty good. I will not complain about how that one come out. Last one I had to fight it a little bit. And run this countersink. This should be the last time that we got to multiple switch the bits. Now I could sit down and I could do a whole bunch of math on this, but I don't like math. Math is my nemesis. Math is not my friend. So I'm not going to do a bunch of math on this. What I am going to do, well, I should be fine. I was going to move some of my tools inside so they don't get any condensation on them, but I don't think I'm going to need to do that. Take this clamp off. We're still good and in frame, but I'm going to move that like that. So, gotta grab my T-square. Where did I put it? There it is. You want to make your screw holes on this about every 6 to 8 inches. I do 8. I feel like every 6 inches is overkill, but I start with this one right here at 2 inches, just so that this corner on all the corners is held down really good. So then it's 2, 10, 18, 26, 34. Then I come in 2 inches off of this edge, which puts me at 46. And then I split the difference between 34 and 46, which puts me at 40. So that one is a little bit different, a little bit tighter. And we'll make marks all the way around the board, same way. And then I'll follow my marks and drill all my holes. So these ones here, though, are at 3 inches off of the edge, roughly, which is okay. And the center of the board is about 12 inches. So if I split it and I go to 9 inches, and I go to 15 inches, then I'm going to get 4 screws on the top and 4 screws on the bottom that way. 12, so we go 9. And the reason why I said 12 is because 12 is the center of the board. At least it's supposed to be, but again, these are a little poorly cut. They are a little bit short, unfortunately. Take this side. And the reason I'm using the T-square is just because it's easy. 2, 10, 18, 18, 26, yeah, 26. Had to think there for a second. 34, 40, and 46. So I got all my marks made all the way around the board. Except I forgot the one in the middle. I did this on the last board too. Forgot the one in the middle. And go this way. And I'm just lining this up off of the screw holes because I know that I can hit the center of the board using this to square up. And again, if we go 1 in the center at 12 and then we go 8 inches down, we go to 4 inches and 8 inches up, we go to 20 inches. Again, not looking for extreme perfection because the board is actually cut a little bit off. But now I can run around and I can just drill holes like a madman and get everything ready to get the countersink. For no particular reason, I do half of the board and then I come back. I think it's just because I don't want to walk around it all the time. And I don't have a table set up that I can walk around at 360 degrees right now. I will though. That will be coming. Got into a knot on that one. Some of them drill very, very easy. And I'm checking the flushness as I go, just to make sure that when I'm drilling these holes, it's going to hold to being flush. And that I'm not screwing myself up. Again, this board that's here in the center, that board is just to prevent bounce. When you use the 1x4, you get a lot more bounce when the bag hits the board. So I'm just taking some of that out of the equation for myself. Like it bounces so hard, sometimes it'll toss your bag right off of the board. We don't like that. And I'm actually working on a fold-up table. Caught another knot right there. That's, won't have to use that bit again for a little bit. So what kind of comments we got going on here? Yeah, if there's skateboarding at the Olympics, for sure, there should be some other games like this. It was not on a rotating board. I actually set it on a cork coaster, and I just spun it around on the coaster. But yes, those were resin inlays for sure. That is accurate, the resin inlay. I'm actually supposed to be building some practice boards for a buddy of mine at work, and I haven't gotten to it yet, as I've done some other things. And this is my first opportunity I've had, was to build these cornhole boards today. So I decided I'm going to attack it. I'm going to get it done because I need to urethane these before I get my skins, so that the skins can stick to the urethane better than they can to the wood. I've used skins before and they stuck to the wood okay, but I'd rather have them stick really good because skins are not super cheap. All right, now I can get all these screws in. Just run around screwing everything like a madman. I don't really know the history of the game. Like I said, I think it's a American redneck game for the most part. It was played a lot around campsites and having fun drinking beer with buddies. I don't know who originated it. I don't know where it came from. I really don't know a lot about it, but I do know that a lot of my hillbilly type friends, they enjoy playing it, and turns out so do I. So it's like I said, it's a fun game. I enjoy it. Other people enjoy it. Kind of the crappy part is going through and using the wood filler in all of these holes, which is what I did earlier. And I don't know if that's going to be dry enough for me to, I knew that was going to be hard. I don't know if that's going to be dry enough for me to sand it off or not. Give it a go. If not, I'll sand it tomorrow. But really, you don't want a lot of bounce in the board. That's what overall, that's what you're trying to avoid. That's why we got so many screws. That's why they go every 6 to 8 inches. You don't want the board warping or twisting or bending, because then you don't get not a good playing surface. But you definitely want to make sure that the screws are all sunk under the board, the top of the board, because if they're not, they're going to show through your paint, and they'll show through anything that they can show through. 2 more screws and the screws are done for the top. So I'm doing little bumps with the impact driver, because the impact driver is very, very strong, and you could potentially blow right through the board. So you don't want to do that. I know I don't want to do it. All right, so I knocked all the sawdust off. All that's good and great, and it's in there. Now I got to find where I want the hole. The hole is supposed to be 9 inches down and 12 inches over from either side, which would be freaking great if this was actually 2 feet. It is actually 24 and 11/16. So you got to kind of split the difference, which takes it to almost 11 3/4, maybe a little over. Anyways, you got to kind of split the difference, find the halfway mark. So if it was 24, 12 inches would be the center, but we have to go a little bit less than that. So we're going to go to let's get our 9-inch mark first. It's kind of right around here. Grab my pencil. Typically you would put your hole on the uglier side of the board, so the prettier side of the board shows more grain, because people stain them, they do all kinds of stuff. But if you're painting it and the grain doesn't matter, you can put the hole anywhere. I'm putting a skin on so the hole can go on either side of the board. No big deal. But we know that this is the 9-inch mark right here. All right, so I gave myself a little check mark. Now we just got to find center of the board. And I wasn't too far off on an eyeball shot. So if I move over a little bit, if I move over 1/16, I think that puts me in the right spot here. All right, so I know right here is where I want to be. And the 9-inch mark is right here. So make a very quick hole right here. And the amount that I'm going to be off for what I'm doing, not a big deal. So I pre-drilled that little pilot hole there, because there's a bunch of different ways that you can make the hole for your board. And me personally, I'm going to use a hole saw. It's a little rougher, it can be a little harder, it can twist up on you, there's a lot of different things that can happen when you're using the hole saw, especially one this big. If you don't have a drill press, there is quite a bit that can bind up on you. But if you take it slow, you take your time, you'll be okay. Let the tool do the work, don't fight it. Who else we got in here? Still Matt? Nope, still same comments, okay. If you don't try to force it in, because it's heavy, If you don't try to force it in, it won't bind up on you. If you're forcing it, I mean, the drill will literally rip right out of your hands. You don't want to do that. So the reason for the small pilot hole was to let that drill bit lead in and it doesn't walk away from me on anything. So I'm going to look through one of the little side holes and just kind of make sure that I'm where I need to be. Okay, pretty centered right there. And like I said, just take it nice and slow. See how right there it's stuck? I'm bumping it until I get it very good and very started. And the battery's dead. I knew the battery might die on me. So take this battery out, put it on the charger, and I'll grab the other battery. That's the other thing that happens with a hole saw and this. It can kill your battery really quick. I did a fair amount of drilling, but it can definitely kill off your battery really quick. So here we go. So one thing about using a hole saw, there is a trick to getting through without getting a lot of tear out on the other side. Because right now, right, I had a bunch of tear out, but I didn't care because that's the bottom of the board. Typically, once you've gotten about halfway through, you can flip your workpiece over and then go the other half, and you'll have a lot less tear out. But I'm just going to run some sandpaper over it. That's all I'm going to do, and I'll be fine. I won't have any major issues with it. Grab my little broom and sweep that off. When you're sanding these holes, they're going to be slivery, so be careful. If you decide to make a set of your own, just be careful. They're going to be very slivery. And I'm going to sand away all the rough edges, giving it a light round over with the sanding paper. I'm using 100 grit, just enough to put a rounded edge on it. A very, very soft rounded edge. Because I don't want it to tear the bags up as the bags are coming in, so I'm just rounding it enough just to give it a little bit of a softness to it. I could use a router and run a round over bit. It's always an option. But I like to make sure that I get it good. So, and then I'm going to take and sand on the inside here and get to the little pieces that were torn out and didn't come away so good. Again, this is where you want to be careful because there's little slivers that stab right through the wood on you. So I can feel the little lip, and this is another reason why I like to do it by hand, is because I can feel the little lip left where it tore out and didn't really cut through that really good. The other way you can do this, you can use a circle jig with your router. You can use a jigsaw and get pretty close. There's a whole lot of different ways. I just like using the hole saw. I know for a fact it's a 6-inch hole. I know for a fact it's round. I feel like the amount of sanding that I'm doing right now is about the same amount that I would use doing any other method to cut the hole. So I feel like I get a decent benefit out of using the hole saw, so I do. But there's absolutely nothing wrong with using the other methods. All of the other methods are just as good. But whatever you're comfortable with. If you're comfortable with a jigsaw, use a jigsaw. If you're comfortable with a router, use a router. Just make sure that your hole's round. That's all that matters. And like I said, I'm just trying to remove that little lip that's down there right now. It's not going to do anything as far as the bag is concerned. Once the bag gets in there, that far, that bag is going through that hole. Any little lip that's there is definitely not going to stop a bag from dropping in. But I'm just going to clean it up because I'm here. And I could use my router and a flush trim bit and do it. I can do that very easily. But like I said, I can feel it and I'm okay with that. If I can feel it with my fingers, I'm all right. We'll flip the board over. Take a look at the underside. We'll sand up the underside a little bit. I kind of reached through and I got the sanding on the underside. We'll just clean it up a little bit more so that when you're reaching through the holes to retrieve a bag, you're not risking slivers on the bottom side of the bag, or bottom side of the hole, I mean. All right, feels pretty good to me. I'm going to sweep this off. That all swept off, and we can start getting ready to put on these legs. We got the top built, we got everything else built, so we can start putting on these legs. Set that aside. This is really just a pick your place. Pick which leg you want on which spot. And a little trick, here it is. If you decide to build a set of boards on your own, a little trick for you. Use a piece of scrap wood, clamp it on the other side of where you're working so that you get less tear out. You're going to put these boards the same distance away from the top because that's what's going to help you maintain your levelness. And I lost my little shim. I had a little shim. I don't know where the little shim went. So we'll eyeball it. Just going to get it very close. I'm going to make it touch the top. I'm just going to back it off enough to where I can see that there's light coming through, which is maybe a 1/16 of an inch. We'll clamp this on here. I didn't feel like pumping and pulling it the entire time. You're gonna let that just sit in there. Check it at about a 1/16 of an inch. I can get my fingernail in there. That's good. Move over to your 3/8 drill bit. Sorry, not the 3/8. Drill a pilot hole first, make it easier on yourself. Using a slightly smaller drill bit just to get it started. We're not going all the way through. So the bigger drill bit will walk on you quite a bit. If you use a smaller drill bit to start, just do your best to stay straight. Put this bigger drill bit in now, and we will have less problems with the drill bit walking because it's already got a spot now to follow. And just try to stay straight. Pretty sure we made it all the way through there. So what I like to do at this point, just make a line, a little witness mark line, so you know which one goes to which. So we're going to do the same thing on the other side, but we've got to take that out to the miter saw and cut angles on it. So we got to set it up and make sure that it's flat, get our angles right, do what we need to do. I could just pull a leg off the other board, which is probably what I'll do, and that'll make them the same. Be pretty dang close enough for what we're doing. Push it right up against and just barely pull it off. Clamp this down. So all this clamping on this is doing is preventing a massive amount of tear out on the outside of the board. It's really all it's doing. You don't want all that tear out. I don't want all that tear out. Nobody wants all that tear out. So again, get our little pilot hole started. That's going to be a much more accurate hole. And I'm kind of watching the drill against the boards and following it to hopefully make sure that it's staying as straight as possible. Because we're going to put bolts through there, so we need it to be straight. Well, we know we made it all the way through that one because I punched through my scrap board. It's perfectly fine. So, punch through its scrap boards, no biggie though. That's what it was for. And I think, yeah, I'm just going to take a leg off of the other board here. Nope, I can't take a leg off the other board because I'd have to take both of them out. So, no biggie. We'll just go through the process and show how it is that you're supposed to kind of get this squared up. So we're going to need a bigger board to lay underneath that one. And I already know from earlier what I did and what worked for me to get to the right height. I'm going to take these out of my way. And I got to grab some stuff so that we can flip this over the right way. Grab my little carriage bolts. We're only going to put one on because we're going to use that one to get the angle for both. Tear that out of the way. We're going to hand tighten this on. Just going to get it nice and snug. Take this out of the way. And we're going to lay this board down. This is our important board. This is the board that's going to set us 12 inches above. And like I said, I already know what pieces I needed to make that happen. I needed this can of paint. I needed these 3 blocks of wood. And I also have a 1, 2, 3 block, which I'm going to grab out of my laser booth. My wife is running some laser stuff, so I'm going to grab that real quick. All right, take my 1, 2, 3 block, and sure enough, I put that on the wrong damn side. So I'll just go ahead and put the other one on. I'll take it off when I need to. Just got to make sure that I have it on the right orientation. I don't think you guys are seeing this on the camera right now. It's okay, it's nothing exciting. We're just putting a bolt on. Get it snugged up, and then we'll get it set up there, and we'll double check, make sure our height is right, and we will set up getting proper line. So, like I said, I hate math. It's not my friend, never has been. Never liked it. Definitely not something I'm proud of, but I don't like math. So the easiest way to get the proper angle on this, measuring this, okay, we got to take off about almost a ½ inch. That's measuring from the top of that board to where we're at here. It's about a ½ inch actually. So we got to remove some stuff. We got to remove 1/4 inch, which means I'm going to have to take out a couple of things. Well, maybe I can just use a 3-inch board, 3-inch block. Maybe that's enough. Kind of fart around with it. 3 inches is a little light by almost a ½ inch. What do we got here? Got about a ½ inch. So let's see. I put my board on there and then I put my 1, 2, 3 block in. Too high by too much. So the easy way for me to do the math on this, I know it sounds horrible and stupid, but this is how I do the math. Once I get this lined up to where it needs to be, which it's almost there, it is just about there. I'm like right almost on the money there. Almost. I'm gonna move this whole paint can and board a little bit more. There we go. That might have dropped me down perfectly. And if not, then we'll see if it's gonna work just by putting the paint can up. Yeah, we're pretty close. I think that's acceptable. I think that's pretty darn acceptable. So, how do we make sure that we are where we need to be? Well, I gotta move this board over a little bit, and I gotta get this board and the can over a little bit. And I'm gonna have to measure again because I need to make sure that that leg is sitting on that board, right up against that board. Can't really show you guys because camera's not there. But basically on the bottom side of the board, that board that I laid down, I'm going to draw a straight line across that because now I have it where I need it to be. I don't need to take any measurements. I'm at 12 inches. So I'm going to just take my pencil here real quick. And I got that board down there and I'm just going to draw that line. I know that's the line that I need. I know that's the angle that I need. So I can kind of show you what I did here. Drop my 1, 2, 3 block. You can see that line right there. With that pushed all the way up, that's my line. So that's the line I need to cut. And I'm going to duplicate that on both of them. So real quick, I'm going to take these legs off and I'm going to walk out to the miter saw and I'm going to get these cut. Let's take this, put that down. Now I gotta remember which way did I have that. So that would have been this way. Yeah, so I gotta take my pencil mark and just give myself another little line here so I know that this is on that side, which side is the right side. Orientation. This is orientation all the time. Follow orientations. Don't lose yourself. Then I can take my 123 block and put that back over by my laser so that that can get put away. And I can put these pieces back. And it's going to take me a couple seconds to get the angle on the miter saw right. But I think my lavalier mic is working okay, so hopefully you guys are still hearing me. And like I said, I'm going to just use this and set myself up. Try to get that angle as right as possible. And once it's right and I have it set good, I'll make the first cut and then I'll make the second cut. I gotta bump it just a tiny bit. I'm just tapping the blade right on the line. Now I can lock it down. I know that that's my angle. And it's right around, looks like right around 14 degrees. But let's make this first cut. And then I'm going to mark a line by putting the bolt through there. And I'll mark the next line and then I'll know that they're the same. I'll come back in and show that part. One little quick chop there. All right, so take a bolt out here. Put that bolt through here. I'm trying to just make sure it's squared up as possible. There we go. So putting that bolt through there. These are pretty much the same. We like those. All right, so now we can take that and we feel like we got it good and squared up. We got our next line right there. I can run that out to the miter saw. I didn't have to do any math. I didn't have to measure anything with a tape measure and figure out the exact precise angle. That's how we did it. And there we go. 2 cuts really, really quickly. 2 cuts that are exact in angle. If I put this bolt back through here, these should be pretty much flush. This one's just a smidge longer, not enough for it to make a difference. At least not for what I'm doing. Like I said, if it was an ACA board, it would totally make a difference. I'd have to go back and fix that up, but it's not an ACA board. Throw my paint cans out of the way, and I can affix this to this side, I believe. Nope. And that's why we marked it. All right, that gives us the orientation that we needed. Tells me that that's where that one was supposed to go. And I can get that started on there. And then this one, that's cut backwards now. Should have cut that the other way. That's no good. I cut that backwards. And that's why you measure twice and cut once. I'm sure I'll be able to make it work as it's moving into the hole now. But I am having to thread it in there. I could probably just pound it through. I'm not too worried about it because it will loosen up over time. Drop that. It's no good. All right, so we don't care about this piece of wood. So we can bring this up here. And we can use our little mallet. We can tap these in. Do the same thing on the other side. It's pretty good. Go and grab my ratchet set again. We'll tighten this down and we can get ready to put that other board in. I don't know where the hell did I put my ratchet set now. Here it is. I really need to get this garage cleaned up. Like seriously. And we're going to go ahead and just get this on here. Take that right about to flush because I know that's where the other one was on the last board. The same thing with this one. And loosen that up a little bit. Tight enough. All right. This one, a little tighter. Loosen that just a little bit. Cool. Still moves good. All right. Done with the ratchet. Start setting up that other leg brace. And this is pretty much where you guys came into the last video where I was getting ready to set up these leg braces. Take a quick measurement. Should be 20 3/4. 20 3/4 is correct. And I put that other leg brace right here. And it is going to go right in there. Fits fairly snug. Great. We know that we went about 1 inch down. Make my little mark there for the inch. Give myself a little lead in. It's not something that's got to be perfect. Going 1 inch. So the only part I could see where it would be a problem, only going 1 inch down, is if the ground is severely unlevel and there's a big lump where your legs would be. That could be a problem. Otherwise, 1 inch down is fine. Get this back up right. I guess I can take this board out of here. Put this out of my way. And then we're going to throw some urethane on this shortly. Or at least the other one, hopefully, if I can get to sanding it, that'd be great. And try to get that to be just a little bit out of my way. Get this side started and lined up. I could use my little corner grabbers at this point, but I'm not gonna. I've got it kinda okay. So go back to my drilling and countersinking measures, and now battery swapping as well. Get these holes started and drilled. Get a couple of screws in it. And go around and fill some screw holes. Get a good line on it. That moved on me a little bit, but I can sand that down and out of the way. And that's not a critical part for it to be sticking up anyways, but this is pretty soft wood, so it'll sand really easy. Just pine common boards. Get this in here. And I can kind of try to force this to straighten itself back out too. And I can do that just by putting a clamp on here. The clamp should help me prevent that from moving out. That should have kept that pretty flush. Yeah, I think that'll do the trick. And put that clamp back on here for the bottom side of this, for this first drill hole. Should help keep that flush. Make this drill hole. Looks like I got some more comments I got to come and read here in a second. I will do that right after I get this side in. And it would really help if I had the battery in. That would be awesome if I had the battery in, powered up, ready to go. Countersink. Like I said, if I was building these more often, I'd have 3 power tools over here. I'd have 2 cordless drills and that impact driver. But no need for that right now, as this is only the second set of cornhole boards I've ever built. And I've watched a ton of videos on them because I wanted to build a good board. The set that I have at my property up north is built with 2x4s, much heavier duty. This one is built with 1x4s, much lighter weight. Spin this around so I can get it the other side. I'm going to watch my clamp. Put this a little bit more into frame. Clamp this side down to here. Help hold that where it's supposed to be. Take this side off. Get this lined up. Put this on here a little bit different. Alright. Kind of got it in line there. Put this one on here, make sure we don't roll off of it again. Should be just about okay. Right about there. Swap the battery. Get a drill hole in. Put a screw in that, hold that top part in. Right after I get this countersink in. One more hole to drill and countersink. Just one more hole. And again, put the battery on. I got used to having both batteries out here until the one died. Take that off of there. So now I'm going to crank this down a little tighter. Try and hold that still. Try and do it from the other side. That's pretty flush, I think. I can make it work. Grab the battery this time. Hey, what's up, Chris? Let's get this sucker in here. Feel like that was good. Quick countersink. Home stretch. Sort of. Get this last screw into this side. It's pretty good. Move these screws out of the way. And my tools and everything. So I don't feel like I'm going to need these clamps anymore. Shouldn't need any of these power tools anymore. We're on to that point where I'm going to do a little wood filler. Move a chair. Put some stuff away really quickly. That'll go good there. Really got to get this shop cleaned up. Make it way easier on myself. I am not making it very easy on myself currently with this, doing it this way. Okay, grab some bits and the tape measure, sandpaper, and stay out of the way. I'm going to bring some wood filler down here in a second, put some drill bits away. I like to try to pick some stuff up as I go, just so that I don't lose anything or misplace it once I know I'm done with stuff. And I don't have anything else that I need to do, or hold, or move, or anything like that, so I feel like I can put pretty much all this stuff away that I'm dealing with right now. Of course, my luck, I'll have to fucking pull it back out because, you know, I forgot this or forgot that. Hopefully not. But that should be all of the drilling and cutting and big noise making. So that's good. It's good that I live out in the country too, because I was running my miter saw outside and it's freaking probably 1 o'clock in the morning. You know, 1:40 in the morning. So, there we go. Now we're going to just set this down on the concrete. Make sure that we're sitting without wobble. Yep, we're good. Take a quick measurement. Make sure that we are 12 inches. A little over 12 inches, that's okay. not going to be that big of a deal. I could take and shim it down a little bit if I want to. Now, let's get some of this wood filler in. It's the nice messy part is this wood filler. Sweep the top of this off and work some wood filler. But first I'll check the comments and reply to you guys. I'm going to grab the wood filler and then I'll read and check comments. I'm not going to fill the wood on the legs. I'm just going to fill it on the sides of the board here. We're doing 2 different color wood fillers because I have more of that and I'm not going to see that, so it doesn't matter. Okay, let's see here. Axe throwing is starting to be big over here, Matt. People are really doing it. Like there's a lot of leagues and stuff that are axe throwing leagues. So yeah, it's picking up, no doubt about that. Fixing my quality over here. I don't know why it messed up on me again. Maybe because I had it in 720. That's probably why I had buffering issues. Let me put it in the 480. That should still give me good resolution. All right, yeah, so the max axe throwing definitely became popular over here. Lots of leagues and stuff. Lots of places popping up doing it in different associations. Oh, look at you. You got your shop organized. I need to do the same thing, Matt. Yep. I did enter it into it. It just kind of worked out that when I was in the middle of working on it, I was like, oh, I think that would qualify for the Dremel Maker Studio. I messaged an admin and said, hey, I kind of want to enter this into the Maker Studio here. What do you think? Is it good? Is it bad? And they were like, no, it sounds good. Sounds like it's no problem. Go ahead and enter it. So here I am. I got a little 2-for-1 action on it. So this is the wood filler. Let's get it a little dirty here, get a little messy. You can try to enter or do this with a putty knife. It doesn't end up working out so hot. So I just use my finger. Try to get it smashed down into the hole, flattened out. I'm going to come back and sand it. And this is why I was trying not to make the screw holes super deep. All right, because then I don't have to work as hard on this part. But since I'm using a skin, instead of just sanding this, I don't want the screw holes showing up through the skin. So I am going to sand this down, same way as I would as if I was going to paint the board. Hey Skip, they got cornhole over there in Canada, or bag toss as some people call it. So yeah, I don't need this to be pristine perfection. And you got to be careful when you're sanding plywood because the thin layer, or the top layer, is so thin you'll blow through it with a sander, no problem. It's like a paper thin layer usually. I'm using this red oak wood filler, red oak color. I know I could have made my own wood filler. Probably would have been just as good. But I had this on hand and I didn't have to do any work to make it happen. So here it is. If I'm lucky, the other board is dry enough for me to sand and then throw some urethane on it. I doubt that this will be dried in a couple of hours, but we'll see. I don't know how good the lavalier mic's batteries are. I've been using it the entire time, and I do have my backup receiver charging, or my backup transmitter recharging, and I think if the receiver goes dead on me, I can charge that, I can plug that in and do what I need to do with it while recording, so hoping that that's the case, because that has power real close to it and it stays next to the phone, so it doesn't matter if that goes dead, hopefully. Just getting all this wood filler in down here at the bottom. Like I said, we're just trying to fill the hole enough that when I sand it, it can be flat enough without causing any divots, so that when I put the skin on, it's a nice flat smooth surface with no little divots. Looks like the laser project is just about done. I will show you guys what my wife was doing if you guys didn't already see it in Carving Fusion members. And I also posted it in another group that I frequent, Carving, Pyrography, and Crafts. I don't know if you guys are in that one or not either. I know Chris is, I think. Or Chris is at least in Carver Whittler's Nook. But I did post, my wife finally got into the idea that she wanted to try a little woodworking with me. So she was out here with me the majority of the day, tinkering around, having fun. She did some laser design and laser work, and she had a good time with that. So she said, "You may have hooked me." She just likes doing the design work on the laser. And she made herself a whole bunch of little plaques, and she goes, "We can sell these." I said, "We sure can." We sure can sell them. People love that kind of stuff. Even though what she was making was for memorial purposes, people still like the neat little images and stuff for that purpose. They don't like the reason that you need it, but people like being able to access that stuff and get what they need or want at a time. One more hole here on the top, and then I can get the 12 holes on the side with the other color. And while I'm up here, just kind of feel around and look around for any major imperfections that would possibly need a little fill. Doesn't look like there's anything. Throw this filler to the side. Catch me a little drink. Nope, drink's gone. No catching a drink. But I got beer inside, so that's gonna happen. Oh, I don't need to mix them because this one's already a light colored, pre-mixed. So flip this up. See, I don't know if that'll be in frame or not. We'll find out in a minute. This light colored one matches the wood really good, so no need to mix. It's quite a bit of delay kicking. I'm already just finished the second hole. On to the third hole now. Of course I grabbed it right where the fucking thing is. Yeah, this is a nice light color, matches the wood really good. I think it'll blend just fine. Get down to the edge here. Then I'm going to lay the board back down and get the other side that way. Because I don't want to lay it down on top of what I'm doing right here. Pick this up, give it a little spin and flipping. Get these holes on the ground here. Well, not on the ground, but with the board in its playing position. Yeah, I've put more effort into this set of boards than I did in my up north boards. My up north boards are played on a few times a year. These will probably get played on a couple dozen times per year. I didn't even make folding legs on my set up north. They're just fixed, permanent, always up. All right, so I'm gonna go and scrub my fingers off real quick. Got all that done. I'll set these aside. And see if this other board is ready for sanding. It looks like it might be. And if it's ready for sanding, then I can potentially finish this sucker up. It's not super dry. Might be able to sand it still. We'll find out in a minute. Just going to go ahead and wash my fingers off here real quick. And then I'm going to go grab one of them beers I was talking about. Have myself a little drink while I'm here. Just grabbing a beer. No, I'm live streaming right now. Have myself a dirty blonde here. Check the comments. See what you guys had to say there. Hopefully the whole family will be helping soon. Beer toss when it's empty, huh, Chris? Set that up there. I did take an extra step with these boards since I'm going to play them more often. I got lights. I'm not going to put them on until after the sanding and everything takes place, but I can at least check my fit and see how they look. All right, so I can at least do that. That is a pretty perfect fit. I like that. Yeah, that'll do her. That'll do her for sure. I mean, that is spot on, 6 inches across. That will work very well. And those operate off of a 9-volt battery, so I don't need to run power out anywhere. But I got 2 of those, one for each board. So when nighttime rolls around, I can play at night still. Or at least be able to see the hole. Might not see the whole board, but see the hole. Now let's take my little sanding block here. My little 2x4 sanding block. Do I stick with 100 grit? I don't think so. I think we moved down to a slightly lower grit, so don't take so much of it off. Yeah, let's do the old 180. We'll see how this looks. That's pretty good. Yeah, sanding pretty easy. That's good news. Means I can coat some urethane on this tonight. I don't know if I'll get urethane on the other one. Yeah, I don't need it perfect. Just smooth. Kind of had a little crack / split right here, so I'm sure that'll smooth out with the vinyl, but I filled it a little bit. Sanding is my least favorite part of any project, and here I am, just sanding away. And I've got my spar urethane that I used for my pumpkins that is all filled with burnt remnants, because I didn't pour it out and then do it. But it'll work just fine for this, because like I said, this isn't even going to get seen. Just knocking down this rough stuff here, and then I'll take and get the orbital sander and I'll go over the whole board and smooth it out and give it a good coat of urethane. And I'm going to probably paint the sides. Pretty definite I'm going to paint the sides. I need to get a nice blue color to match the skins that I have for one board. And this over here. It'll work out just fine. I'll hit that with the orbital sander. Like I said, the official boards are, I think, 2x4s, but I wanted it much lighter weight. So I went with the 1x4s here. It's still a little wet. That'll dry just fine though. Go ahead and break these corners with the rough block. Just taking the sharpness off of the corners. Here I go, trying to do things left-handed. That's a mistake. All right. Go and hit that with the air compressor and blow that off and throw some urethane over the top of this. Nope, not hitting it with the air compressor yet. Forgot, still gotta hit the top with the orbital sander really lightly. Forgot about that part. See you later, Clay. Appreciate you coming in. Matt, yeah, I do carve pumpkins. I carved a good handful of them last year. I don't remember exactly how many, but I did carve quite a few pumpkins last year. Go and disconnect my miter saw. It's got all kinds of sawdust in that son of a gun. I don't know what grit paper this is. Oh good, 180. That's what my wife put on there. Awesome. Go ahead and just give this a quick buff. I should have done those sides first. Now I gotta go over this again real quick. Now we can blow it off with the air compressor. Take it out there, blow it off, and get some urethane on it. Oh, my shop is quite dusty. All right, looks like the laser projects are done. I'm gonna home this real quick. I can close out of that. Take another sip of my beer. Set that down and shut down the computer. Not the computer for the live stream, just our personal computer for the laser here. Turn the laser off. And I'll show you guys what my wonderful wife was working on today. Well, that part didn't come out too good for her, but I'll show some other stuff that she's got going on. So she took it upon herself. She wanted to do something. So she started doing these little guys, right? She did a couple little sizes. She ran the router to chamfer the edge. She did all her laser design work that she wanted to do. She got her images together and got all that squared away. And she made a few different sizes of these. She got this one, which doesn't have any urethane on it right now. She even did her own urethane work today and her own stain and what have you. So she's got a couple different ones here, a couple different sizes, but they got these little mini paper clips on them, or clothespins on them. She stapled those on there herself, but a couple different sizes. The little mini clothespins are for hanging pictures, right? So she did all that. She did her own stain work, some nice golden oak stain on that. But that was her project today. She's pretty proud of it. I'm pretty proud of her. She did a good job. Did all of her own urethane work on these, and nice work. Very nice work. Set those down. All right, put my T-square back and away. kill some time here for a minute while I'm waiting for this other board's wood filler to dry, which is not going to dry fast. But we're going to go ahead and we'll get ready to urethane this at least. We'll have one board ready to go. And my shop is in desperate need of being cleaned and organized and assembled. It has not even been assembled yet. I don't need my little mallet anymore. Put that back. Put a bunch of tools back. Grab me a crappy paintbrush here. I don't know if I have any more crappy paintbrushes. I thought I did. I know I had a whole bag of them. Where the hell did I put them? That's the next case. Where in the hell did I put all those crappy paintbrushes at? I know I had a whole bunch of them. I don't want to use a good paintbrush for this. Good paintbrush is not a good option for this. But I don't know where I put my crappy ones at. Had a whole bunch. Whole bunch. Don't know where they're at right now. Not a clue as to where I put them. Surprisingly, the mosquitoes aren't too bad tonight. Keep my fingers crossed that it stays that way. Put this little... Oh yeah, we got her a new toy too. Got her a little rigid air nail stapler so she could staple her wood on, or her rope onto the wood easy. As I continue to try to figure out where in the heck I have some junk paintbrushes. Doesn't look like I threw any in there. I just don't want to use my good ones. That smells like urethane, but I know it's stained. My wife was using that. It looks like she got to all my good brushes, my good, yucky, not worth a cuss brushes. I don't think I have any other ones. So, I'm going to go ahead and shake up this urethane here. Nope, it's not a good idea to shake urethane. Almost did it. You must stir the urethane. Stir it first. See if I got any other brushes in here hiding anywhere. I don't think I do. So, just gonna have to pick out the worst of the bunch and run with it. All right, this one seems like it was a piece of junk at one point in time. Thus, it still is. Just gonna run with some spar urethane. Just gonna do one coat because I want the skins to stick to the board better. So one coat of the old-fashioned spar yucky urethane should be sufficient, I hope. But one coat I think will be enough, I'm hoping. Just gonna mix this stuff up here. I got plenty of this left from when I was doing pumpkins. I used spar urethane in all the pumpkins and I was brushing it on. And now that I bought a better compressor, I'm going to look into HPLV, high pressure, low volume spraying of urethane to finish bigger pieces and when I'm finishing lots of pieces. I don't know where and how I want to set that. guess like that is fine. So if you've never done brush on urethane, kind of want to saturate your brush. And a good trick to not having a bunch of run over, brush towards your edges. You can avoid some pretty nasty lines that way and drips. You won't avoid them all, but you won't have a big sloppy mess either. Because what happens with it is the brush picks up a lot, and then when the brush has all that on there and you come across it that way, it's just like you're sweeping it off the side of a paint can, and that's where you get all your drip coming down. So if you move this way towards your edges, you can avoid a lot of that. Like I said, I'm just doing this quick one coat. And I brushed it on just so I'd have control. Try to go with the grain. If you're unfamiliar with this, always try to go with the grain in most applications that you do. Seems like woodworking is all about going with the grain. Not worried about getting it super even, just worried about getting a good coat on it. So that's going to help that skin stick to it quite a bit easier. This will harden up over time. It takes really like 2-3 weeks before this stuff is really thoroughly cured. So as I'm waiting for these skins to come in, I doubt they're going to come in before I head up to my property. So I probably won't even get to put the skins on for almost 3 weeks, which means this stuff should be very, very solid by then. I'm going to go ahead and just kind of brush around the edge here. I don't care what the bottom looks like. As you can see, I didn't have a ton on this brush, but I had enough. Oop, got a little drip down there on my... Yep, getting a little drip there where I don't want it. It's on the inside of the leg. It's okay though. I'll paint over that. This urethane's a little bit darker. Like I said, I screwed up and I didn't separate what I was using from the burned pumpkins. So this has a little bit of charring and ash in it. Now is a custom urethane, I guess we can say. And I'm only going to urethane the front faces. Like I said, I'm going to paint the rest of it. And I'll probably do that right before I put the skin on. Because I don't need to have the skin done in any particular time, but I want to get it done sooner rather than later because I want to play. So next gathering I have, I'm going to have this nice custom cornhole board set. Should be pretty sweet. I very rarely brush on any finish, but realistically, for a set of cornhole boards, this is really the correct way for me to go, because it's just way too much work to do a spray-on finish with spray cans like I normally would. Just way too much work. That should be enough to finish it off. Like I said, I'm not super concerned about doing this super awesome and perfection. Just trying to get it thoroughly coated so that when I put that skin on it, it can stick to this urethane way better than it can to the wood. That's the plan, at least. Let it stick to the wood, to the urethane instead. Oh, right there. Made myself a nasty little drip right here. We'll get that cleaned up, hopefully before it dries. Now I'm going to have to go and rinse this paintbrush off so I can hopefully use it again. And I want to put this somewhere that I don't care about it getting all yucky. I'm going to rinse off this paintbrush real quick, and then I'm going to come move that board. Hopefully I'll be able to use this again. It is an oil base though. Watering it down. Should probably use mineral spirits on it. Yeah, water and oil don't mix. I grab a cup and put a little mineral spirits in the cup. I'm gonna have to wash my own hands with the mineral spirits though too. In the meantime, I'm gonna let that hit that brush. Yeah, let me get some mineral spirits here. That's for certain. Wash my hands with mineral spirits, and then I'll get a cup to clean that out with. Soak that brush in mineral spirits. That's the plan, at least. Hey, what's up, Jordy? Appreciate you coming on in, Jordy. I gotta wash my hands, and I gotta wash a paintbrush and some mineral spirits. So I'm using this new lavalier mic. Hopefully you guys are hearing everything. But wash my hands in these mineral spirits real quick, and hopefully that breaks up that oil-based urethane. I gotta put some in a cup for this paintbrush. I'm not even going to waste any mineral spirits on this brush. Nope, don't care. Not doing it. Just going to put this brush out here to dry. If it's good enough to use tomorrow, cool. If not, screw it. Fuck it, don't care. Just gonna wring it out a little bit. Let it drip dry. Maybe it'll be okay. We'll see. We will see. I don't really have a hook to hang it on though. Well, don't really have a good hook, but I got this. That's what I normally would hang my Dremel on. All right, take this and flip this out of the way, and then I got to clean up that other little spot. Grab my paint can closer, my Special Carving Fusion paint can closer. All right, check these comments out here, let's see what we got. Yeah, I plan to get the sprayer, the HP LV sprayer soon. Yeah, I'm interested in, I'll have to message you, Jordy, and find out exactly where you got yours for 20 bucks. That's a steal. And cheers, fellas. Have a little dirty blonde beer. Couple good swigs there. Grab me some decent paper towel, because I gotta clean this up underneath this board here. It's a good thing I don't really give a shit about this table. All right, clean up some stuff from my wife here. Go throw this stuff away. I don't think that I'll have. I don't think I'll have the ability to get that other one sanded tonight. I was really hoping that I would. I mean, at least not on camera. I probably won't be able to. Probably be able to off camera, but. Make sure that I put these away tonight. Leave these where I can see them. Check this thing out over here and see how it looks. I doubt it's definitely not dry enough for me to start sanding on it. Nope. 100% not dry enough. I'm gonna have to wait a minute on that. Well, that's okay. Even if I gotta wait a little. Move some stuff around, put some stuff away. Stuff that I don't need. Clean up a little bit while I'm chatting with you guys. Thanks, Chris. Appreciate it. Yeah, the other one, carry it over there. It is definitely 100% not at all ready to have any sanding done. You can still see it's really dark. Really, really dark. So no sanding for that one yet. It'll come. It'll happen. Ain't gonna happen right now. But I can move some other tools and stuff around. Get some other things in order here. Put my miter saw back. That can happen. That's a heavy motherfucker. I should have had my wife help me with this thing. It only weighs freaking 90 pounds or 100 pounds with everything that I have connected to it right now. I got to put it back over here all by myself. It's a good thing I wore my shirt with the muscles in it today. Yeah, I wore my shirt with all the muscles in it today. See, I wore my shirt with all the muscles in it. I got massive delay on my end. All right, good. You guys were able to see it. I was kind of worried you weren't going to be able to see it. No. Wife will kill me. All right, I guess we'll move this off on an angle. It's a heavy ass son of a bitch right here. Try to grab this the right way. Oh. Yeah, who needs a back? Not me. Backs are for weaklings. All right. Yeah, gotta get that stuff cleaned up. Whew. All right, got that heavy work done. Definitely got a lot of cleanup work to do in here. Holy crap. My wife was enjoying herself today. It was actually a lot of fun having her in here working with me. Kind of neat, different experience. She's normally not out here doing this kind of work with me, so it was kind of good, kind of fun. I look forward to doing it again. This should dry in maybe an hour, I don't know. I guess I should have left that chair over here. Definitely should have left this chair up over here. That's out of the way enough. Coil up some extension cords, bring in some other things. Have this place pretty much ready to sit. In good shape. If I'm lucky, I can sand that other board down tonight and slap some urethane on it. If I'm lucky. Can't guarantee any of that. Got some work I gotta do. Put some things up. Gotta hang a different extension cord that I don't have to drape it across the floor. I bought one of those Harbor Freight retractable cord reel ones. So I'm gonna put that up on the ceiling. Give myself a little advantage there. I'm just now realizing I never ate anything for dinner. Never ate anything for dinner, so Cheez-It Snaps it is. These Cheez-It Snaps go good with beer. One beer down. I had to take the trash out tonight too. With this little sucker on top of here, I can reuse that paint stirrer. Put that right on top of the lid. Bring my motorcycle in the garage. That might be my ride to work tomorrow. All right, that's close enough to out of the way. What the hell, Chris? Leaving a mess out here. Cutting up all your little wood chunks and pieces, not picking them up. What the hell? All right, almost done with quick cleanup of today. At least putting tools back, quick cleanup. Grab the broom and I'll sweep out some of my sawdust. We'll get rid of some of that, not all of it. At least my wife had a good time today. I hope, at least. And she enjoyed the woodworking stuff that she was doing and her laser engraver projects that she was doing. I think she did, at least. Hope she did. I had fun with her. Alrighty. I don't know why I clean my shop as often as I do, at least the sweeping part. I know that there's lots more dirt and dust coming. I think I probably clean my shop 2, maybe 3 times a week. I sweep the floor, depending on how often I'm out here doing a project. But I try to stay on top of it. No matter how many times I'm out here doing a project, I try to stay on top of shop cleaning. I'm not doing a super good job of cleaning it right now, but just enough. Just enough to get it done. Keep it looking good, even though I haven't even put it together. Haven't put anything in my shop together, really. Had some big changes coming to it by way of getting it set up and organized and clean and tidy. I gotta get some stuff set up. Gotta get some electrical work done. Get all that moving and going good. Be in pretty good shape. Hope the microphone's still running. Haven't taken a minute to look. Hey, what's up, Matt? Welcome back. Yeah, so I'm putting a skin that I ordered online. It's just a vinyl cover that sticks. Instead of me having to paint it and do all that other bullshit hard work, it's a skin that's custom fit. Holes there, you lay it on there, trim it all out, and stick it on down. And it's just a nice thick piece of vinyl that sits there over it, similar to paint or whatever else you would do. But yeah, it's just way easier in my opinion than painting it. And I'm too freaking lazy to paint it, so I'm not painting it. And I don't really care for the quote-unquote paint jobs. I prefer something a little more flashy, and I'm not putting that kind of time into painting flashy, so it's skins it is. I ordered superhero skins. I ordered Deadpool and Wolverine skins for the board, but if you are familiar at all with Deadpool and Wolverine, then you are well aware that Deadpool and Wolverine kind of have their own little thing going on. So I'm kind of sticking to it, and I'd show it to you, but it's on my phone, so I can't. And welcome back, Matt. I think I'm gonna go grab me another beer here in a minute. Another table to put away real quick, and I'll go grab me another beer. Put away my little workmate table that my wife was using as a sanding station and that I used to do some cutting. Yeah, not too bad. And I'll be right back as I go grab my second beer. Cheese ravioli. I guess I'm hungry enough. I can eat cheese ravioli. I'm hungry enough for that. And I got time to kill. I'll be right out there, guys, in about another 60 seconds or so. A little over 60 seconds. This is not going fast enough. Come on. Put a little Cajun seasoning on that. Come on, let's go. I swear to God, this is the longest minute and a half ever. My son is watching Flash. I got a little distracted there for a second. All right. Let's put this freaking thing and mix it up. All right, a little snack time. Back to the shed, garage, workshop, whatever you want to call it. Temperature's cooler out in the garage. I like that. See what you boys had to say while I was gone. Not too much, doesn't look like. No. Just waiting for this freaking board to dry. Both of them, actually. I gotta wait for the other board to dry so I can sand it. And this one, so I can move it. Cheese ravioli is way better with Cajun seasoning on it. Just saying. I've got to stay up all the way until 6:30 this morning at least. That's only 3.5 more hours roughly. I've got to stay up all the way until... All right, mic's still working. Good. What do you guys think of the new microphone? I think it was worth it for the less than $100 investment. I agree, Matt. Thank you. Realistically, for the $90 or so US that it cost, it actually functions pretty well. I mean, I've walked around doors and through doors and around walls and such tonight and moved all around, which is pretty typical for me to move around quite a bit. But I've moved a good 30, 35 feet away from it at least. And I think the audio quality has kind of hung out pretty good tonight. I don't know. and it'll pretty much connect to anything with a 3.5mm jack, so that makes it even better. And Jordy, if you're still hanging around, I didn't see if you left or not, but if you're still hanging around, you should have seen my wife's face when you were talking about Sushuzi Sitter pants. She looked at me and she goes, "What in the hell is he talking about?" So then I had to explain it to her. It's a little bit chilly, so that urethane is taking a little longer to dry. I'm live streaming. I'm live streaming. I have a microphone on my shirt. Yeah, so urethane's taking a little longer to dry since it's a little bit of a chillier temperature here right now at nighttime. Kind of sucks for getting this to dry. I can see that it's still wet and tacky in certain areas. Doesn't really matter, the other board's not dry yet either, so. I did purchase something that I'm going to try very soon. Normally, for interior projects, I use the Varathane satin clear water-based urethane because it doesn't change the color of anything. So normally that's what I would use. I went to the old Home Depot tonight and I found the same thing, but it's triple thick. All right, satin clear. It's also water-based, made by Varathane. So I'm going to give that a shot on a project here soon and see how well that works. It says it does triple thick, one coat, advanced self-leveling formula. So I don't know. We'll see how it works. I think it's only going to be good for flat projects. If it's self-leveling, it means it's probably going to take a little while to dry. So I'll have to see how that plays out, but I'm going to give it a shot and see what it looks like, how it works. This stuff isn't quite dry yet. And this urethane is still tacky. It's tacky, but I can move it. Maybe give that other one a shot. Using the 1x4s on this is a definite way to save on all that extra weight. Let's sweep this out of the way. Maybe I can sand that board. We'll see. If I can sand it, I can put urethane on it tonight. That would be freaking great. Let's see. Where did I put my little sanding block? There it is. Just hit it with some 400 grit and let's see. Oh yeah, looks like I can sand that. That looks good. My makeshift workbench isn't very good, but oh well. Get all those flattened right out, yeah. That's awesome. I'll be able to frickin' urethane this tonight. And very soon, I'll be able to have my skins here and install those. Damn mosquito, I got him. They've been leaving me alone out here all night. Now a little jerk wants to come around. It's kind of great. I was really not expecting to be able to sand it. It's kind of exciting. Find a much faster drying wood filler next time though. I'm just hitting this with 400 grit sandpaper because I don't want to take off the veneer, cause myself more issues. I'm going to hit this with the orbital sander in a minute after I do the sides. Learned my lesson on the last one. Do the bottom and the sides first with the orbital sander. Do the top last. Sanding really is my freaking least favorite part of any project. I hate sanding. I am not like Mr. Dibbs with all of his fantastic sanding on his projects. I hate it. Mr. Dibbs is a sanding fanatic, it would seem. Not me. No thanks. Almost done with this part though. Technically, I shouldn't even have urethane the other board because this stuff wasn't even 100% dry yet. They want you to wait like 2 or 3 days before you add urethane, but like I said, I don't care. There's something covering this up, so it doesn't really matter. A couple more quick spots on this. And some side holes. No, they're harder. That's good. I will knock down the corners on this break the edges, so to say. Do that before I flip it over. Start up top here, we'll break these edges first. Too far. Take away that sharp corner. There we go. All right, Mr. Orbital, bring you back out. Bring you back out, and we'll get these sides and then the top and bottom, or sides, bottom, and top done. Let her rip. Give those sides a few more minutes to dry. We'll hit this bottom up first. smooth. All right, back over to the air compressor, blow this sucker off. So I did buy recently, I bought this decent little Master Force air compressor, and the thing actually runs really, really quietly. It'll probably run when I plug it in right now, but it's just so quiet. That's it, man. That's pretty quiet for an air compressor. I can talk over it for the most part. I'll blow this board off and sweep off this tabletop here. When I throw this urethane on here, I'm dust free for the most part. Still got a lot of dust floating around in the shop here. See about maybe plugging this fan back in. Come up here and plug her back in and let her blow some dust out of here. At least suck it up. Alright. Yeah, see, I wouldn't even worry about running this compressor. I'm standing right next to it. I don't even worry about running that. If anybody's sleeping around or whatever. I think the air nozzle is louder than the damn compressor. Alright, unplug that now. It filled up while I was using it. Not too bad, can't complain about it. It's pretty good. Put this sucker down here and let's break that frickin' urethane back out. Kind of excited about that. Kind of really excited about that, like way more than I should be. Definitely way more than I should be. It's really not that exciting, but here I am, excited over frickin' urethane. I'm more excited once I actually get my skins and my bags. Kind of surprised I haven't gotten shipping information about the bags yet. I'm gonna have to give them a call tomorrow and find out the deal on that. Now I'm gonna have to go and pick out which freaking brush I want to part with. Feel like it's okay to throw away. Of course, I parked my motorcycle right in front of it. That was a genius move, Chris. Well, I guess it's going to have to be this little guy. Yeah, it feels like a cheap and crappy brush. It's going to be that little guy. A little throwaway brush. 2-inch throwaway brush, fine. See what we can do about painting around in here. Just try and get this while the brush is light. Hopefully I don't get any drips. At least that's my hope. Come back and we'll get it again when the brush is light again. I just dipped a bunch in this brush, so. Finish off that hole after this dip. Kind of left off about right here. Getting all around the hole. Heck yeah. I know it's super freaking nerdy, but I'm just happy I got the urethane on here tonight. And all I gotta do is wait for these skins to come in the mail. That should be pretty damn cool after that. You won't even see this green anymore. Well, I gotta paint the sides too. Sides and the bottom. Gotta paint that, but I'm gonna have to get some special colored paints. I could do black around one. That'd be fine. I might. I don't know. I would normally be way more meticulous with how I'm applying this, but since I know it's not going to be seen, I don't really care. I don't really care as long as I know it's all coated. Checking different angles of light, just make sure I got it all. Pretty sure I do. There's the trucks whipping by. Alright. Yeah. Yeah, I think I got it all. I think it's good. Alright. Such a freaking nerd for really enjoying and liking the fact that I got this urethane. But I don't care. I don't. Set that down, and that. I'm not going to need the urethane again. Alright, I'll throw this brush away. I'm not even going to clean this brush. Don't care. Have me a little sip of beer. Put this away. Alrighty. Well, has anybody got any questions or comments or anything? Taking me a little seat now. Get off my feet for a minute. You guys let me know if you got any questions or comments or anything. Since December of 2020. Yeah. So about 8 months, a little over 8 months. I don't like the graveyard shift. I didn't want it, but I am a union employee and there's only 2 people in my position and the other guy has more seniority, so he gets to pick the shift. I do like my job though, and I like what I do. Can't complain about it. It is a relatively easy and somewhat fun job. I just fix stuff all day for the most part. I do want to mention, I watched a video, 2 videos yesterday of a DIY channel. The guy's only been around since 2019 as a channel, and his channel is booming, just freaking booming, and kudos to him for that. However, 2 out of the 3 or 4 videos that I watched of his that were DIY were just outright dangerous for either the tools or the person or both. I don't know how this guy continues to be able to stay on YouTube, because I can be honest with you, some of the stuff that guy was promoting to do as a quote-unquote DIY was absolutely dumb. Like, it was dangerous. It's going to hurt somebody if they continue to try doing anything that he's doing. I mean, I don't like saying that somebody has dumb content or stupid content or anything like that. I really don't like saying that. But it was just dumb. He made a weed whip head for trimming down your brush and your weeds in your yard. He cut down a solid piece of sheet metal, and then he used some cheap screws to weld to that, and then he put bicycle chain link on there as the weed whip string, and then affixed it to the head of the weed whip. Hey, what's up, Jordy? Welcome back, sir. Just talking about a DIY channel that I watched a couple videos on yesterday that is just absolutely dangerous. There is nothing safe about his channel. I don't know how he's still on making videos. I was just telling Matt, he made a weed whip head for trimming your grass and stuff around your house out of a piece of sheet metal, a couple of screws, and some bicycle chain as the string. Not good for the weed whip head, and definitely not good not if, but when that chain comes flying off. Because it is definitely coming flying off, and it's coming towards your body. Well, enjoy your night, Jordy. Sleep well, brother. Appreciate you stopping in. And Jordy, you should probably check into one of these little lavalier mics that I just bought. They're not too bad. I'm probably 7, 8, maybe 9 feet away from my camera right now, but I've been walking on and around and away from my camera all night. Might be good for you when you're doing your videos. You don't have to scream and yell into it to try to get a hold of your microphone. But sleep well. If you want to know what kind of mic I bought, shoot me a message and I'll send you the link for it. It's about $90 US. Yeah, I get the long days, Jordy. I know you're rocking really long days doing all your carvings out there. Do a little cleanup out here. It's a really nice night out here. I should have started a bonfire. That's what I should have done. Maybe I'll take my motorcycle to work tomorrow if the weather's permitting. Alright, we're all cleaned up out here. I put that urethane on pretty thick. It's trying pretty good on the other board. Still a little sticky in a couple spots. It's okay though. Yeah, paintbrush is going to go to the trash too. That's not going to be reusable. That one's going to harden up real good. See if I got any. Not too much in there. Alright, well, looks like everything's pretty well done, so I'm going to just go ahead and end the stream. Appreciate you guys coming in and checking it out as always. Really appreciate it. Next week I think next week I'll get on to trying to carve this little guy that I was going to carve tonight. Yeah, so next week we'll get after this guy. I did some work on him. The wood was pretty hard. I kind of was just like, screw it, and kind of bailed out a little bit. But yeah, we'll get on him a little bit more next week. And until then, like I said, appreciate you guys stopping in and saying hi and checking out the feed for a while. It means a lot to me. I know it may not always seem like it, but you know, us small channels just trying to put out some decent content, which my content's not the greatest, but at least you guys come and hang out and say hello. Appreciate that much of it. So, alright. In any case, see you guys later. Appreciate you. Matt, appreciate you as always, brother. Stay good, guys.